Next, part B in April 2016 Computer Architecture University question answers. And the first question is, explain briefly the modules of interconnection structures. There are several physical forms available for establishing an interconnection network. They are: number 1, time shared common bus, multi-port memory, crossbar switch, multi-stage switching network, hypercube system. So the time shared system has a common bus. Multiprocessor system consists of a number of processors connected through a common path to a memory unit. Next, we are moving for this multi-port memory. A multi-port memory system employs separate buses between each memory module and each CPU. This is shown in figure below for 4 CPUs and 4 memory modules. Each processor bus is connected to each memory module and so on. Next, we are going for this crossbar switch. The crossbar switch organization consists of a number of cross points that are placed at interconnections between processor buses and memory module paths. It examines the address that is placed in the bus to determine whether its particular module is being addressed. It also resolves multiple requests for access to the same memory module on a predetermined priority basis. Next, we are going for multi-stage switching network. The basic component of a multi-stage network is a 2.2 output interchange switch, as shown in below figure. The 2.2 switch has 2 inputs labeled A and B and 2 outputs labeled 0 and 1. So next, we are going for 14th question. Explain the concept of cache memory. Cache memory is a special very high speed memory. It is used to speed up and synchronization with high speed CPU. Each memory is costlier than main memory or disk memory, but economical than CPU registers. Cache memory is an extremely fast memory type that acts as a buffer between RAM and the CPU. Cache memory is used to reduce the average time to access the data from the main memory. The cache is a smaller and fast memory which stores copies of the data from frequently used main memory locations. There are various different independent caches in a CPU which store instructions and data. The cache diagram is shown in below diagram. The cache technique we can find out here. It consists of CPU. So next we are having the small cache memory. Next we are having the primary memory, and beside that we are having the secondary memory in the diagram. So levels of memory. So there are different levels of memory. Level 1 or register. It is a type of memory in which data is stored and accepted that are immediately stored in CPU. Level 2 are cache memory. Level 3 are main memory, and level 4 are secondary memory. Cache performance. When the processor needs to read or write a location in main memory, it first checks for a corresponding entry in the cache. If the processor finds that the memory location is in the cache, a cache hit has occurred. And if the processor does not find the memory location in the cache, a cache miss has occurred. So we can also find out the hit ratio. The hit ratio is equal to hit by hit plus miss. That is equal to number of hits by total accesses. Cache mapping. There are three types of cache mapping: direct mapping, indirect mapping, and hybrid mapping. Next we are going for the next question. 15th question. Explain the magnetic read and write mechanism. Data are recorded on and then retrieved from disk via a conducting coil called the head. In numerous systems, there are two heads, or a head and a write head. At the time of read or write operation, head is stationary while platter rotates beneath it. So this is the diagrammatical representation for read-write head. There we can find out the read-write head, the coil which is surmounted on the read-write head, and below that we are creating a magnetic field using the bar magnet which is available there, and we are having a sealed sensor, etc., using which we can read or write the data. Write mechanism is based on the fact that electricity flowing via a coil generates a magnetic field. Pulses are sent to right head and magnetic patterns are recorded on surface below with different performance for negative and positive currents. While right head itself is made of easily magnetizable material and it is in shape of a rectangular donut with a gap along one side as well as a few turns of conducting wire along opposite side. A traditional reed mechanism is based on fact that a magnetic field moving relative to a coil generates an electric current in the coil. When the surface of the disc passes under head, it performs a current of same polarity as one already recorded. Structure of the head for reading is in this case fundamentally same as for writing, and so same head can be used for both. So single heads are employed in floppy disk systems and in older rigid disk systems. So next we are going for the 16th question. Write a brief note on I/O channel architecture. I/O channels and I/O types. I/O channels is an extension of the DMA concept. It has ability to execute I/O instructions using special purpose processor on I/O channel and complete control over I/O operations. Processor does not execute I/O instruction itself. Processor initiates I/O transfer by instructing the I/O channel to execute a program in memory. Program specifies devices or device, area or areas of memory, priority and error, condition, actions. So types of I/O channels, diagrams is available here. So I/O channel. So in that I/O channel we are having a selector channel and multiplexer channel. Selector channel controls multiple high-speed device. It is dedicated to the transfer of data. It is dedicated to the transfer of data with one of the devices. In selection channel, each device is handled by a controller or I/O module. It controls the I/O controller shown in the figure. So it has selector channel, I/O controller and another I/O controller with two sets of output. So next is multiplexer channel. Multiplexer channel is a DMA controller that can handle multiple devices at the same time. It can do block transfer for several devices at once. Next, data and address channel to the main memory. This is a diagram. It's a multiplexer channel, I/O controller with single output, I/O controller with two output, and I/O controller with single output, I/O controller with two outputs. Okay. The next two types of multiplexers are used in the channel: byte multiplexer and block multiplexer. Next, we are going for the 17th question. Explain and list the 5 types of data transfer instructions. So the data transfer instructions are the instructions which transfer data in the microprocessor. They are also called copy instructions. So here we are finding a table which has the following fields: opcode, operand, explanation and example. First example we are using move d, s, where d equal to s and move ax, si. Next one is push d, pushes d to the stack, push d, x is the example. Next is pop d, pops the stack to d, and pop as is the example. Push a, none, pull all the registers into the stacks. The example is push a, pop a, none, gets words from the stack to all registers. Pop a is the example. And let's go on. And push hf, none, copies the flag register at the top of the stack. Push f, pop f, none, copies a word at the top of the stack to the flag register. And pop f is the example. Here D stands for destination and S stands for source. D and S can either be register, data or memory address. And next we are going for 18th question. Explain the internal structure of CPU. To understand the organization of the CPU, let us consider the requirements placed on the CPU. Things that it must do. First is the fetch instruction, and next one is interpret instruction, third one is fetch data, fourth one is process data, and last one is write data. To do these things, it should be clear that the CPU needs to store some data temporarily. It must remember the location of the last instruction so that it can know where to get the next instruction. The below diagram gives the CPU internal structure. So it consists of ALU, registers and control unit as one block, and from that we are having different types of buses. So from that we will have this different type of buses, as I told you already. So control bus, data bus and address bus connected to them. They are commonly known as system bus. We already know it. CPU with the system bus. So next is CPU is the system bus. So this is the diagrammatical representation of the CPU internal structure. Here it has the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, as a base. In it has status flags, shifter, complementer, arithmetic and boolean logic. Next it has an internal CPU bus, and in the last it is having the registers and control unit. So this is the diagram for CPU internal structure. And next we are moving for this 19th question. Explain the function of control unit with a block diagram. The control unit is the main component of the central processing unit in computer that can direct the operations during the execution of a program by the processor. The main function of the control unit is to fetch and execute instructions from the memory of the computer. What is the control unit? The component which receives the internal signal information instructions from the user and converts it to control signals for the execution in the CPU. It controls and directs the main memory, arithmetic and logic unit, input and output devices, and also responsible for the instructions that are sent to the CPU of the computer. It fetches the instructions from the main memory. And this is the diagrammatical representation for that. There in the center we are having control unit, and for that we are getting different inputs. The first one is instruction register in the top, and on the left side we are having the flag and clock. The right hand side we are having one input called the control signals from control bus. And the outputs available in the diagram are control signals within the CPU, control signals to control bus, and then the last we are having the control bus as it's a diagram. Next is components of a control unit. The components of control units are instruction register, control signals within the CPU, control signals from the bus, control bus, input flags and control signals. The components of the hardwired control unit are instruction register, timing unit, control state register, etc. Functions. The functions of the control unit include the component of the control unit, control signals from the bus, control bus, input flags and control signals.